The lack of information provided to Congress about the redaction, the Epstein files, the original belief behind that was it was to protect the victims. But you guys have a lot of questions about why so much of this is still redacted and why we still don't know so much of the truth. Can you talk about that to our viewers about why this is so important?
Yeah, look, we know there are thousands and thousands of redactions, and I have personally gone to the DOJ, the little reading room they have for only members of Congress, to look at the redactions and read myself files that were redacted clearly for the sole purpose of preventing Donald Trump from further embarrassment, not consistent with the law. There's a file I read that has Epstein's lawyers recounting a conversation with Donald Trump where it's revealed that Trump never kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, as Trump claimed, right? There's no victim information, no survivor information in that file, no reason for it to be redacted. At Todd Blanche's direction, we can only presume, because Pam Bondi told us that, files like that were illegally redacted.
And this is a man who wants to become Attorney General. He was directly in charge of redacting files that should be out there for the public, but because they were embarrassing to the president, we don't get to see.
That's right. And
very serious.
Any senator who votes to confirm Todd Blanche should know you're now part of the cover-up. You're complicit in the cover-up if you vote to confirm this man and make him the Attorney General who has led the cover-up of the Epstein files.
Well, you set up two parts of the same problem, and at the core of that problem are the Epstein survivors, are the women who have, for some time now, been trying to get some relief. And that relief is just, could you just believe us? Could you just listen to our story? And could you please hold the men who raped us and abused us and took advantage of us as young girls, hold them accountable? You've got Amanda Roberts, Virginia Giuffre's sister-in-law, very clearly stating why she doesn't trust this whole thing with Todd Blanche this past Thursday. Just listen to what she had to say.
He has publicly said over and over again, there's nothing to see here. There's no credible evidence for other perpetrators, and there are no investigative leads. And it's just categorically false. They are actively right now under the helm of Todd Blanche impeding open investigations. And so those are very big things that we should be highlighting from now until that Senate hearing.
So that's the part one of this problem. You've got Todd Blanche going before the Senate. That's not your body of jurisdiction, obviously. But, what your members in the House have been able to do to sort of level up and create narration around the Epstein story has been very, very important. And I think a lot of Democrats and not too few Republicans will use some of that intel that you've been able to gather and put out there. The second part, though, is your colleagues, Khanna and Massey, pressing the DOJ in their failure to comply with the Transparency Act. That part, to me, seems to be the weakest link. Because at the end of the day, what can they do except send a letter? Right? I mean, it's out of frustration, obviously, because they don't have the power of the Congress behind them to move in an authoritative way. How do you help the public balance those two pieces as they look for some action in the Epstein matter regarding Todd Blanche and his hearing, but at the same time, they see so little action in enforcing the Transparency Act?
That's right. Well, in order for Congress to truly enforce the Transparency Act that we passed and President Trump signed into law, it's quite clear, unfortunately, we have to have a Democratic Congress to do that, because Speaker Johnson is going to continue to carry water for Trump in this cover-up. So if you're out there, you're a Democrat, independent, Republican, you want to see these files released, you want to see transparency, you want to see justice, we got to have a Democratic Congress that would be willing to hold folks like Todd Blanche in contempt, willing to use the appropriations process to require the Department of Justice to reopen this investigation, follow every lead, prosecute those who deserve to be prosecuted. I don't think this Republican Congress, in fact, I know this Republican Congress is not going to do, I know they're not going to do that, notwithstanding the courage of folks like Thomas Massey and a handful of others.
A couple weeks ago, didn't Speaker Johnson literally go to a microphone and say, "I run the protection racket"?
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Saying it out loud.
Made it very clear.
Thank you for the bullhorn, in case anybody was wondering.
That's right.
Are House members going to get a chance to question Todd Blanche anytime soon?
Well, look, when we talked to Pam Bondi, when she came into the Oversight Committee for her transcribed interview, when any question we asked her about these illegal redactions about the files, her answer was, you got to talk to Todd Blanche. So we came out, Democrats,
Like 38 times.
got it, understood. Let's get Todd Blanche in. Chairman Comer, the Republican chairman of our committee, has said he would like to bring Todd Blanche in and talk to Todd Blanche. You know, is he going to have the courage to really hold Todd Blanche to account and compel him to come in and answer questions before our committee? I don't know. I suspect he's going to let the confirmation process play out.
Here's the thing: if they let it play out, what if some Republicans find a spine and don't vote to confirm Todd Blanche? And so does he stay the acting or not? I just feel like that's an out for Republicans to say, "Oh, he's a private
He gets the
citizen
Pulte,
now."
Pulte
he gets the-
treatment.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they don't call him at all.
Yeah. Well, that's possible. But look, if he's the acting AG or the confirmed AG, he's still subject to congressional subpoena. That certainly has been the position of Democrats and Republicans in Congress for time immemorial. The Republican chairman has said he should come in and answer questions. So we're going to keep pushing. We'll try to get a subpoena vote if that's what we need to do to get him to come in. I think the American people deserve to hear the answers to these questions. Why haven't you released millions of files? Why have you illegally redacted files? Why have you told survivors there's nothing further to pursue when they have said time after time after time there are more men and more leads that need to be pursued?
Real quickly, for the viewers out there, and this question they always ask us about doing something. Can we do something? What can be done? Talk about how important subpoena power would be for the Epstein files if you take the Congress back next year. You take the House back, I should say.
Yeah, look, it's everything. Right now, we have been able to secure some subpoenas with a handful of Republicans who have stepped forward. One of the things the Republican leadership of the Oversight Committee has done is shut down a lot of the formal hearings and markups, so those motions for subpoena can no longer be made in many cases. If we have Democratic control, we have subpoena power, so we can compel testimony. We can make folks come in. We can make sure that it's under oath, make sure there are cameras for the American people to see for themselves and judge whether folks like Todd Blanche are telling the truth or whether they're lying.